blood of our people are your lands kept safe.
I see in your eyes the same fear that will take the heart of me.
So do all who live to see such times.
By all that you hold dear, this good earth.
There's some good in this world, and it's worth fighting.
Welcome back, everyone. This is our quick breakdown and review of The Great Wave, episode 4 of The Rings of Power. So, the Queen Regent Muriel's faith is tested. Take it away. What happened with the Queen Regent here?
What do you think they're referring to here? Her faith being tested?
She's coming at this from a couple angles, right? So she, on the one hand, her father, who was, quote unquote, an elf lover, has severe dementia or is just no longer able to fulfill the duties of the King of Numenor. So we find out that she is the Queen Regent in his stead. Now, she also has this idea that an elf will bring about the downfall of Numenor, because she has seen in the Palantir that she has that an elf arriving will bring about a huge wave or tidal wave or something that will wash Numenor into the ocean. So on the one hand, her father, who has been praising elves when he was alive, to a point of perhaps rebellion against his reign, she then has to, on the flip side, see this vision of an elf potentially bringing about the downfall of Numenor. And so she is very conflicted on what to believe. And at the same time, once she gets to know Galadriel herself and realize that Galadriel also has these ideas and visions of evil in the world, the queen is really struggling to figure out what to do. And you know, I do not envy her. She has a tough crowd to please. The Numenorians are not friends of elves currently. They feel that the elves have wronged them by essentially gifting them this island, but then at the same time still kind of lording over them that they are their betters in a way. And that is why over the years Numenor has lost touch with the elves. So I think at the very end, you pointed out in our analysis video that she initially was not going to go along with Galadriel. Galadriel had been very antagonistic towards her, not respecting her, and she is the elf in the vision that brings about the downfall of Numenor. However, she sees that even upon sending Galadriel away, the tree is still giving off those petals, which signify that something is wrong. And that's when she does have to think about, maybe she has been wrong to distrust Galadriel this whole time. She's got a very strange three-pronged story to kind of get into. She's got family issues with her own father. She's got trust issues with the elves because of a vision. But then she's also got this tree that is going to be providing her some insight into the health of Numenor. So she's trying to balance the three, and I think she is. I think she's struggling to cope with all of it going on.
Yeah. And Isildur finds himself at a crossroads. So, again, he's being called to by that island to the west part of Numenor, and he we think is deliberately kind of lets a rope go so he can get fired.
Yeah, I think he even says it as much. He says, I only intended to get myself fired.
Yeah, but then he ends up getting both his friends fired too.
Yes. And I think the crossroads they're referring to is that he kind of feels lost, because on the one hand he's been wanting to go west to the west end of Numenor, despite his father warning him that there's nothing there for him. But then when he gets fired from being on a ship, he really has nothing to do. Like he has no idea where to go next. He's tried a bunch of other stuff and either failed or quit because it wasn't right for him. And it's not until his father comes and asks to get volunteers to go to Middle Earth to potentially fight Sauron or some force of evil, that he decides that this is his next This is his next step in what he's gonna do.
And they're like, well, we don't want a naval dropout in our army, so you're staying here.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, it was established he was pretty good, right? Because he was allowed into this academy at an early age, despite having already tried other stuff like horse taming. I think was mentioned. He then rises pretty quickly and is very capable. In fact, that's why he was kicked out. Is that it was easily known that he would never have messed up his task there. And that's why the shipmaster is like, you did this deliberately, so you're off the ship. So yeah, it's not quite clear what he's trying to decide over, because going to Middle Earth is definitely not west of Numenor. So I don't know where exactly he is trying to get to, but he now feels he's found his purpose, and he's going to travel with a company to Middle Earth.
Okay, Elrond uncovers a secret. That's Mithril for sure.
That is, yeah. So Elrond knew something was up. The dwarves were being very kind of cryptic. He was flat out lied to about where his friend Durin the Fourth was. So after doing some investigative work and using his ears to hear across this vast cavern, he finds out that the dwarves have discovered this new mineral, this new ore, mithril, which is the hardest and lightest ore known to the races of Middle-earth. And, it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal to Elrond. He thinks it's neat, but he's not here for mithril. He's here both for his friends and to get some dwarf elf unity in building this great forge for Celebrimbor.
Mm-hmm.
Arondir is given an ultimatum.
Is that referring to Adar?
I believe so, and this is one that I think they could have done a bit more on, because this is where we see Arondir pick up. Is that like a shard of like?
It's like a rock or
It's like
something.
it's like a rock, but it's like a sharp rock. Like he feels he can maybe stab Adar because they get into a very close conversation. But Adar gives him an ultimatum, which is, you can either try to kill me and you will surely die because the orcs will come and kill you, or you can bring this message to the humans. And the message essentially is, surrender, pledge fealty to us, know that we now hold ownership over these lands. So yeah,
and
that
you will live.
yeah, and you will live. And they also want Theo's sword that he found. Speaking of
and
Theo,
Theo disobeys Bronwyn, so this is about the food rations. So
Yes.
they've made it to the old watchtower that the elves used to occupy,
that's right.
and but they didn't bring any food.
That's
So
right.
they
Yeah.
thought-
So, or maybe they ate it on the way, or ate it already, because we don't know how much time has passed. But yes, they're running very low on food. Hunger.
4 or 5 potatoes.
Yeah, they got 4 or 5 potatoes left. Hunger is driving these people kind of crazy, because people are saying, we're not going to give up our rations when there's like 200 of them and only 5 potatoes. So Bronwyn wants to just keep doing what they're doing: forage in the nearby woods, hunt in the nearby woods, don't go too far afield. But that's not enough. They've already been doing that, and it's simply they're gonna starve. So Theo decides he's gonna risk it and takes a friend of his back into town to get a bunch of food that was left in the cellar of the tavern.
Mm-hmm.
This proves to be kind of dangerous for Theo. He narrowly escapes with the help of Arondir, who has made his choice in that ultimatum, which is he will not give his own life to kill Adar. Instead, he wants to get back to Bronwyn and be with her. So Arondir comes along, saves Theo from these orcs, and is able to get him and Bronwyn back to the watchtower and deliver the message. And that about wraps up all of the storylines. There was no Harfoots this time around, which means no Meteor Man either. And we still have, we've seen very limited screen time for Gil-galad or any of the other elves, other than Elrond and Celebrimbor. And obviously Galadriel, but she is the main character after all.
Comment your thoughts and questions about what you think we will see down below. What do you want to see in this next episode? Also, what do you think of the previous episode and this teaser? Thank you for all the love recently, and I'll see you in the comment section.